feels good to warm up with a little dead. Welcome back, guys, to episode 25 of Pod Podular. And it's a big week, guys. There's a lot of things going on this week. It is tax day this week. We got the NBA playoffs this week. It's 420 week. It's Easter week. It's WrestleMania week. But we're not here to talk about Seth Rollins today, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to talk about Alana Rockland and the boys specifically, because we are going back to Tennessee, and here to talk about it today is my co-host, Mr. Nathan Schuler. How you doing today, brother?
Back to Tennessee, baby. And you better come correct. STS9 does not play subpar shows in the state of Tennessee. It's STS9 week, baby. It is Thursday, April 17th, 2025. We are on the eve of some new STS9 shows. The first two-night run, proper two-night run, then if you don't count Jam Cruise of the year. Tons of exciting stuff going on. Episode 25. We've been going with the sports numbers. I think we're kind of in our steroid era at this point. So let's go. This is our Mark McGuire episode. We'll go with that. Yeah.
I like it.
But man, I am on the road as we speak, as you're listening to this, to Nashville. So we are pumped to bring you the Nashville preview episode of Pod Podular. It's Pod Podular, by the way. Thanks for listening. Man, do we have a lot to dig into for the STS9 time capsule of Nashville, right? So going to be super exciting to get in some clips from past years of STS9 shows in the great city of Nashville. But just a couple things to talk about before that. Really cool visualizer video that they released last week for Lysis Symphony and Unity. It's all right. I'm still getting used to that. I think I nailed it there, right?
Yeah. I guess it's starting to roll off a little bit easier.
Right. Kind of figuring out the cadence of how to say it, right?
Sure.
Cool stuff. Not quite as cool as obviously the Glassy Z13 was like a legit music video where you see the band playing their instruments in their studio. But I thought the artwork for the single of Lysis Symphony and Unity, It's All Right, was awesome. So to see it kind of brought to a three-dimensional realm was pretty cool and put in motion a little bit.
Absolutely. I think I'm not aware of another instance where Taylor or Hunter's art has been kind of in a 3D realm like that. That was really cool to see, and I'm sure they were really pumped to see it too. So I thought it was great.
It would be cool that now that they're doing this, for them to go back into the vault of all of the past artwork and bring that to life in motion.
Yeah, bring some artifact people to life.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's cool. That's a cool idea.
Yeah. I'm sure they've got some kind of idea up their sleeve for that. But no, I thought it was really cool. But, talking Human Dream and everything like that, we've got ourselves an EP release party coming up here.
Yes.
The Human Dream. The Human Dream 1 is being released. The band announced with we're sharing it. On the Sky Deck here. Join us in Nashville as we celebrate the release of Human Dream 1 over 2 nights of sound, light, and community. So if there wasn't enough to get excited about, one, just Tennessee STS9 shows in general. Now it's going to be, we're thinking probably Glass and Lysis Symphony and Unity, It's All Right, are on there. Mm-hmm. And what? Probably 5 other songs on top of that?
I think 7. That's my guess. Alana said 20-something songs on one of the first interviews that she did in this rollout that's been happening.
So it would make sense to release 7 on the first EP, 7 on the next EP, and then the final 7 as a part of the full album release later this year.
Yeah. So
hopefully a lot of that stuff we haven't heard live. I'm
Hmm.
sure maybe one or two of them we will have heard live, but either
I don't
way,
know. I don't
yeah.
know. It we'll see. I kind of expect this to be a full clip of other than those two that you mentioned. I think 4 to 5 new songs all at once seems completely reasonable, and I think across 2 nights and 4 sets of music, you can probably expect to hear them all.
Yeah, I would think so, and we'll get into after we dive into the time capsule of the clips of what we think we're gonna hear, song specifically, but theme overall, I think you're gonna see a lot of old mixed in with the new.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Seven seven new songs is a perfect amount to sprinkle in with classics in the catalog.
Mm-hmm.
And I think last year you go back to on the Skydeck, one of the first times I really fucked around with Glass. You saw Glass in the Moon Socket. That's about
Mm-hmm.
as new and old as it gets, right?
Right.
So I'm expecting quite a bit of fuckery like that, and that gets me really excited. And
Absolutely.
I smell a sit-in. There's quite a few people that have sat in with the band that are Nashville-based musicians. You got Jeff Coffin. You got, of course, Maureen Murphy.
A friend of the show.
Yeah, she's obviously a featured vocalist on the EP as well. So that, and then new production on top of it. I know we've talked about it, but again, I think what you saw in that the visual video release along with the newest single, I think that's kind of what you can expect to see. A lot of that mixed in, whether it's screens or projections or just kind of untraditional and different, right?
Right.
Um,
Very, very excited to see what Drew and the rest of that team have cooking. That should be really cool. Still, fingers crossed for a live stream. Haven't as of the taping of this podcast, we have not officially heard anything about a live stream. If you were in Nashville, buy those tickets. Go to this show. Um, you
yeah,
know, because whether we get it on live stream or not, it's going to be worth seeing in person. I've got a good feeling, man. I've mourned the Tiberius loss, and I'm ready for this new direction. And let's see what we got. It should be great. I'm excited for you to see it in person, and fingers crossed for a live stream. But I'm pumped that half of the pod is being represented this weekend.
we had to have boots on the ground, right?
Absolutely.
So excited to see everybody there. I will have a bunch of these to hand out. Some Pod Podular stickers here. These are fresh, put together by our man Be Pearl. So come find me, come get a sticker. Excited to see everybody, and just get back to that venue, man. I mean, that was um, just a really cool place to see STS9.
Hmm.
There's lots of choices of places that they could play there, but with how well last year went, in this seeming like it's going to be this Nashville 420 kind of branded event, seems like it might be a reoccurring thing. I think it makes sense for them to go back there.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Great location. I mean,
Mm.
just everything about that place. I had so much fun there last year. I mean, it sits on top of a massive food court of different options, and it's just a very, very easy weekend, especially if you're lucky enough to be staying downtown. Everything is right there. So, I hope they crush it as hard as they did last year, and I hope this is an annual thing. It'd be really cool to kind of game plan around this in the future.
Yep. Um, and our boy who was on the show last week, DJ McNice, he is coming now. I'd like to think him coming on the show had something to do with the final push towards getting him there, right?
Hey,
But
we're the manifestation machine. That's what we do here. We predict the future.
if you're within an 8 to 10 hour drive and you're listening to this now and you're not currently planning on going to the show, do it. This is going to be a weekend that goes down in SCS9 history is really one of those really special weekends. What do you think? There's a possibility we get a stage layout change up? I know you're hoping for that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, no, honestly, no, I
Yeah.
don't. I think that there's a reason that they have had a million different light stage changes in the last 10 years or so, and they haven't changed their layout of where the band is. So no, I mean, I'm pessimistic actually that we would see that. If we did though, I think Zach goes back in the middle. I mean, they've been laid out like that in all of the promo for this. So
Yeah.
there is
It
reason to be hopeful.
I bring it up because the last time they changed the stage layout was when they dropped new music like this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm with you. You know my thoughts on it. I think it should stay how it's been for the last 10 years. But I think it's a topic of conversation, a possible thing that you should be able to bet on DraftKings if you wanted to. So plus 600 Zach in the middle.
Yeah, that seems good odds.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into the time capsule here and the clips. We're going to be spanning across 20 plus years of STS9 shows here to cover just the history of STS9 in the city of Nashville. And I know I kind of started the episode by making that statement like STS9 smokes the state of Tennessee, right? And there's like a lot of reasons behind that. There's added reasons behind it now too, with Alana having spent a lot of her time there and that kind of being a hometown throwdown for her. But yeah, I mean, for you, Scotty, have you seen anything less than a stellar STS9 show in the state of Tennessee?
No, I mean I've only seen two STS9 shows in the state of Tennessee. But they were those Skydeck shows last year, and those were awesome. Um,
Yeah.
so much energy, and then just going back through the Nashville shows that have happened for this episode. I mean, I've said it before. Close your eyes and throw a dart at any of them. You're gonna hit an absolute legend of a show. Yeah, I could cycle through them, but a lot of them we're about to listen to. But no, I mean, and I would say. Nashville's as reliable as in Atlanta, as a Colorado, as any other place where there's, like you said, that hometown energy. It just it feels good when you're there. It feels like they're playing for friends.
Yeah. Good crowd energy, everything like that. So
Yeah.
we're gonna start things off in '04 with a nice Podular debut here. It's been a long time coming for this song.
God, I love this song.
Let's go, Zach.
Welcome to the show, and Summer Angels.
Oh my God, dude. It's so fucking good. In 03, 04, between those 2 years, they played this song about 50 times. They were playing it when they were on tour once every 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So 03, 04, you could throw a dart at the board at any and Summer Angels, and they're this good.
Right.
This is the heyday of that song. And it's taken us 25 weeks to get to a shame on us, Scotty.
I mean, and you know what's funny, and this will make sense to the real kind of the real nerds that are listening right now, and it might not make sense to everybody, but uh, when this is what Hunter Brown sounds like in my brain.
Mm,
Does you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I feel like whether you
Your your
consciously
your
real
Hunter Brown inner monologue.
yeah, kind of, yes. So like I feel like whether you consciously realize it or not, like close your eyes and think of the first Hunter Brown riff that like comes to mind when you think of this band? That's what I'm talking about. Like the one that just kind of exists as that when Hunter Brown's name happens, it just happens in my brain.
It's like
You
a
know?
it's like a fucking shooting star, dude.
Right, right. That's that lick is so iconic to me that it is the main thing I think of when I think of Hunter Brown's name. I haven't looked this up, but I feel like I feel like they played a lot of these actually in 2013. And I got a
Yes,
lot.
yeah. That's where I got familiar with this song, where I was starting to get really obsessed with this band, and that like this was one of those songs where I was like, that again, yes, this is my favorite fucking band in the
Right,
universe. Like,
right. Yeah, I felt like this song kind of followed me around in the best possible way in
yeah,
2013. For all the hate that year gets, man,
they
I'm
they
thankful
did
for that.
they did justice to this song then. They
Hmm.
did, because one thing when they've played it with Alana, which has been far and few between, it's been since Mish 2023 since we've gotten it, so a year and 7 months, and we were there.
Hmm.
Um, but you hear that on the second breakdown after the percussion breakdown, which is just like so iconic, just like
Hmm.
after Jeffrey goes nuts. The Murph like fretboard slide, the boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom. And they were hitting that in 2013, where they might not have been hitting that in the later 2000s and 2011, 2012, where that's what I think of for OG and Summer Angels versions. But yeah, if we could get that more frequently, it's been very far and few between.
I
You're
have a question about that song that no one's ever been able to answer for me. I plan on asking each member as we get them on this question. What was the first part of that sentence?
the dot dot dot.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
thinking about that too. Yeah. That is a great question. That'll be very
yeah.
interesting to hear about that. What precedes that for sure.
Sure.
So this is a legendary show. This is 2004 September 23rd at Exit Inn in Nashville, Tennessee. This is the callback to the Evasive Come Why with Jeff Coffin that happened on New Year's Eve in
Oh,
uh in NOLA this year.
right,
Talking to Zach after the show, he was like, "Yeah, we did that as an ode to when we did that with him 20 years ago in Nashville."
right.
So this show starts off with the Today, Twilight, Evasive Come Why with Jeff Coffin. So they did the full suite with him, and he does get involved during the Evasive, and it's really cool. We would play that, but we just played that a handful of weeks ago. And I thought that this and Summer Angels was a definite standout. Trynock, Viable, uh, there we look at me saying it correctly now.
Hey.
In Summer Angels, Crystal Instrument, Just Thanks, Set to Ramon, Glowgly, For Your Puma, What Is Love, B Pulse, Blue Moon, Encore, Luma Daylight. That's a smoker. And Sky saw this guy's comment who was at the show here. Do you have it up or you want me to read it?
No, no, I was reading it on your screen.
So this is Art on Bandcamp. This is his handle there. This show is wild as fuck. Right off the jump, the crowd was dropping down to the floor. Also, it was hella steamy. Then Jeff Coffin appears out of nowhere. Someone hurls in the front row, and everyone left half naked and covered in water from a giant puddle that magically appeared. Talk about a spiritual journey. That's good content right there. But great way to start. For the next clip, we're not going to go too much further down the timeline. We're going to hit '05, and we're going to get a little bit of collective efforts in here. So enjoy this.
This is an incredible band, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I've heard they're pretty good live.
How many STS9 fans do we have in the house tonight?
I would hope.
as many as bought tickets.
Oh, y'all can do better than that. How many SDS 9 fans do we have up in this motherfucker tonight? Yeah, that's where y'all at.
You found him.
Yo, I'm integrated with the city, down gritty, got no pity for lost souls. I take a breath, then I head to the crossroads. Lost souls, eat the pressure that I'm living in. Give them my time to intertwine while you're living there. Mind just a picture that I painted with the way that I drive. Straightforward, never looking behind. See the signs, but damn, never been a man to listen. Read it in the headlines, suggesting my condition in bold print. Bold ink, dead in my page. Scratch a line, never done it, quite explain what I say. Got the key to the cage, to leave the beast lock. Welcome to the age of the cat, the gun cock. Coming to fly, cats living up the crack as a crash. Drop to the bottom while I got him, a gridlock is high. Temperature rise, just the MIL. Try to civil, cause it's still a new beginning for real.
I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life. Complain, that's all they do. Man, I got problems too, but I'm not trying to put them all on you. I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life, but I gotta realize that my brain can change. But it's never gonna happen if this pain remains.
Tell 'em,
Man, I've seen a lot of good things too. Something I wanna share with you. Encouragement, the strength to live. Too much time spent being negative. Life is led by the things you do. And if these words come true,
Well, I'm gonna drag you down to the level I've been. I never wanna see that place again. What?
they say you can't teach a low dog new tricks or games. You can teach a human being this pain. Speak a new language, new frame of brain. Many ways to explain the same thing. Shot from different angles, that's what disentangled. Hands get mangled in the process. That's why you gotta stop. Watch where you tap your fingertips. Surrender this for the betterment of our settlement and my fellow men who are residents of this element. I'm not selling it, I'm just telling it how I see things, and I'm making sure whatever we bring is gonna be true and enlightened and never fighting the feeling to reach a level and heighten and reciting it with passion unsurpassable. Man, I'm asking for a fraction of your time, not even half of it. Had it with the average rapper who just blathers with a bad attitude and a tendency for negative energy. Trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life. Complain, it's all they do. Man, I got problems too, but I'm not trying to put them all on you. I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life, but I gotta realize that my brain can change. But it's never gonna happen if this pain remains.
Tell 'em, man.
I've seen a lot of good things too. Something I wanna share with you. Encouragement, the strength to live. Too much time spent being negative. Life is led by the things you do. And if these words come true, well, I'm not gonna drag you down to the level I've been. I never wanna see that place again. Yo.
I got one life to live and I can love it or hate it, cherish it, throw it away. It's all up to me how I play it. If I don't mean it, I will say it. If I say it, I betray it. If what I'm doing ain't working, I
Take it back to the basics,
Yeah,
yeah.
I break it down, recreate it if I have to, whatever it takes to capture your undivided attention. It's no holds bars and we bust. We're coming at you like the old wise man with the answers to your questions. Known to achieve but what's thought to be impossible, overcoming these obstacles and making it solvable. Smoking reflections and every word I speak is volatile, making the impossible probable.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, we came together just to form a collective, a collage of images that were carefully selected, handpicked by the angels chose to lead the rebellion. They ever try to front y'all? What we gonna tell them now?
Yo,
I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life. Complain, that's all they do. Man, I got problems too, but I'm not trying to put them all on you. I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life, but I gotta realize that my brain can change. But it's never gonna happen if this pain remains. Man, I've seen a lot of good things too. Something I wanna share with you. Encouragement, the strength to live. Too much time spent being negative. Life is led by the things you do. And if these words come true, why am I gonna drag you down to the level I've been? I never wanna see that place
Yo,
again.
hey yo, and take another breath, then it's gone with the wind. It's a sin trying to finish when the dead begin right. Light got the power to change lives. Light shine brighter than the flicker in your eyes. Looking in glass pipes. The type to give a piece of mind with a backing. Acting like we never seen it happen. Make your actions an example. More than the track. Know the words never perfect, but they focus on the same. Now what you working with? Hell, I got a soul, man, I give it control. Never floating in the undertow, reaping the seed zone. Road to hold my whole flame. Tight grip, might slip, quick to drink about it.
Slight drip.
Intricate plot, I think not. Keep it in sight, like a groove, we born tight. I to keep it infinite, till it get dropped. But you, we ripping it inch at a time. We can find it, we gonna take it in, yes.
I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life. Complain, that's all they do. Man, I got problems too, but I'm not trying to put them all on you. I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've I've seen a lot of bad things in my life. Gotta realize that my brain can change, but it's never gonna happen if this pain remains. Man, I've seen a lot of good things too. Something I gotta share with you. Encouragement, the strength to live. Too much time spent being negative. Life is led by the things you do. And if these words come true, well, I'm gonna drag you down to the level I've been. I never wanna see that place again. Yo, now from the front to the back, to the side, if y'all came to rock the party and you feel it all right, say I feel real good. Now from the north to the south, to the east to west, if y'all came to represent, get it off your chest and say, oh yeah. Say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
DJ Creation on the 1 and 2, y'all.
Make some noise if y'all feel good up in here tonight, y'all.
So we gonna bring it back. We want y'all to sing along with us now. Come on. Yo.
I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life. Complain, that's all they do. Man, I got problems too, but I'm not trying to put them all on you. I'm trying to bring change in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things in my life. And I gotta realize that my brain can change, but it's never gonna happen if this pain remains. And I've seen a lot of good things too. Something I wanna share with you. Encouragement, the strength to live. Too much time spent being negative. Life is led by the things you do. And if these words come true, well, I'm gonna drag you down to the level I've been.
I never want to see that place again.
Word up, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank y'all.
Fuck yeah. Collective efforts, things in my life.
On Hunter Brown's birthday.
On Hunter Brown's birthday, 2005, April 4th, at the Cannery. Let's see if the Cannery is still open. But yeah, thoughts on this one, Scotty?
Man, we coming at you like an old wise man with the answers to your questions. That's how I should have opened up the pod today. I love when this shit happens. It's so rare. We've talked about how much, we've talked about a good amount actually on here about how much we like rappers popping up every now and then with STS9 because it speaks so much to their roots. The really cool thing about collective efforts and their presence with STS9 on these 2005 boards when you see them is the presence of a scratch DJ. Which we also have seen with Chris Carnes, and
Cut Copy.
I just had this thought that most of the time, and I don't even think we've had this conversation on here, so fuck it, let's have fun. If you've ever asked a room, hey, if you had to add an instrument to the band, most people say saxophone or maybe a violin. My answer would be a vinyl DJ.
Shit.
A la Chris Carnes or so, because he's not doing enough. But
he's got an open schedule, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he could clear some things out to be another full-time member of another band.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I think in terms of just the flavor that STS9 already brings, a DJ like that just makes sense, and is always really cool when you get to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to a really cool moment that is not talked about enough is when Cut Copy opened for them on the New Year's run at the Warfield in San Francisco, and during his opening set, he starts mixing. He had his turntable set up like in front of the band setup, and he starts mixing in Red Clay, and then the band comes on one by one behind him to like play red clay behind him, and he just like scratches on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Bandcamp as a singular
Was that
track.
Cut Copy or was that
I misspoke. It was Cut Chemist. My bad.
Yes.
Cut Copy, Cut Chemist. My brain's full of a lot of things, mostly STS9 related. So give me a break on that. But
Green Jacket, Gold Jacket? You know.
yeah, who gives a shit? I mean, Rory sure gives a shit. I'll tell you that.
That's true.
But yeah, really cool moment where they came in and kind of like finished the song with him and live scratching over a jazz record like Red Clay. Really cool shit. But yeah, I mean, this show at the Cannery is a monster globally to open up with a Once Told, By the Morning Sun, and then Sweat and Concrete with Collective Efforts, and then Things in My Life with Collective Efforts. 2 songs produced by Hunter Brown. I believe Sweat and Concrete was a collective release between STS9 and Collective Efforts, but Things in My Life was actually on the album for for Collective Efforts titled Visions of Things to Come in 2003, which really cool. They did a handful of times between 05 and 06 around the release. But then you get a Grow, Something, set 2 today, Tokyo, Possibilities with Collective Efforts. That shit's fire too. Freak 2, 3, B-Pulse, Blue Mood, Dance, People's Encore. Hell of a show here.
That Possibilities Collective Efforts remix was the only version of Possibilities that I was familiar with for the first probably 6 months to a year that I was an STS9 fan before I sat down and listened to Artifact. That was the one that I was like, I just thought that was how it was.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. It's funny how you kind of find out about things like that through this band. And it's really cool just the way they educate you about music too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Tennessee Jed to start things off. Obviously, it was we're going back to Tennessee, obviously. But it was an Easter egg too. Yeah, it is Easter weekend coming up here. And it was a little bit of a nod to this next clip. We're in the 2.0 era now. One of the best nights of 2014 2.0 STS9.
God damn, Hunter.
So 2014. It's crazy.
God, Hunter's a naughty boy.
Land it. Yep. Oh. Yeah. As we like to say here on Pod Podular, till the very last drop.
Every bit of juice. You were there. I often forget that I wasn't at this show because I listen to this show so often. But I was not there. And so I can't imagine the feeling that I would have felt after landing with this. And I'm just curious to where are you in your mind at this point in the show?
Dude, I mean, so they come out with the Shakedown Street Encore, and sure they played Shakedown Street in the past, but this and I liked what they had done with Shakedown Street in the past. And made it very STS9, very heavy on the screechy synth, kind of turned it into more of like the minor key and STS9'd it, right? They Sector 9'd it.
Right.
But they get into that kind of like major key section. It's much more funkier, much more true to the Grateful Dead version. I mean, this is Halloween 2014. This goes down as one of the best nights in STS9 history for sure. And we'll run through the set list too. But dude, when they started going to that Love Light tease, I was like, oh my God. Are you kidding me? And I thought we were gonna get a full Love Light, but
Yeah.
the way they ended it was so perfect. But God, could you imagine if they finish that this weekend and they do a Love Light with Maureen? Oh,
my
dude,
Dude.
that would go fucking nuts. Let it shine on me.
Oh my God, dude. That would be so fucking cool. More
Yeah.
more of that. More
Yeah.
more Dead covers. God damn, dude. I'd forgotten
Dude.
how long that Shakedown Street was.
It's the longest one
Yeah.
that they played for sure, and I think the landing on the Love Light helps for sure. Here's a look at what I looked like this night. And my buddy Ryan Firm dressed up as Walter and the dude from The Big Lebowski. And a funny story from this night is we were in line for the show, and right behind us gets in line a group of girls dressed as Maudie and her gang from The Big
Nice.
Lebowski. So right even before the show, the vibes are high. But going through this night, we will be back to this show. There's no fucking doubt about it. There's a certain song I wanted to clip that we were saving for a certain guest at some point. But they open up with a 13.5 minute When the Dust Settles without any samples.
Yeah,
So
this show might be the first show that we eventually play every song from.
maybe
It's that good.
this was my first Gob Nugget and my first Monkey Music. So it's
Nice.
Gob Nugget into Monkey Music. The Paint, Mothership Connection with Maureen. That's Maureen's premiere, her debut with the band. Wicca, Oil and Water, Mobsters, Nautilus, Aimlessly. Oh my God, dude. I believe that was the first Aimlessly with Alana as well. The
Was
theme
it?
of this show was funk Halloween, and
Yeah.
they pulled that out pretty good. And the band came out with these disco ball helmets. And then at the end of When the Dust Settles, they kind of hopped off stage for a second. They put the disco balls on these stands, and then Saxon just like did this like crazy like light show as the end of the When the Dust Settles. So that was really cool. And then set to Still Blasting 2028 live edit with Sub ID. I believe that was Brad's debut with the band as well. Into 4 Year Puma.
No, it wasn't. He did the One ID at the Fillmore.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
One ID,
That
One ID.
was a few months after this. That was 2014, 2015.
You're correct. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
But very close together for sure. We'll be playing that one. Don't hold your horses, folks. We'll get to it.
It's coming. It's coming.
Into 4 Year Puma, Freak 2-3. Dude, the crowd reaction after that Frequencies
Mm-hmm.
is one of the best crowd pops you'll ever hear on a soundboard. And being there, Saxon shut the lights off after that, like huge, yeah, and just darkness, and the whole crowd just like, yeah, crazy. Then you get the dance, give up the funk, back into dance. They had a crew member during the dance parts too come out with a big sign that said funk on it. So they were prompting people to say funk instead of dance during the break. And then obviously they go into we want the funk. The whole crowd is getting into it, man.
I did not know that. I've never heard that before. I was just saying when you were loading up the clip, I wish there was a video of this show. This is like if the venue has a video of this or something, man, this would be so cool.
It's just one of those nights, man.
Yeah.
Back into dance, Crystal Instrument, Totem, World Go Round, huge Ramon, 13 minutes and 42 seconds, and then the encore is this shakedown. Into Love Light is not listed on the set list, but this is certainly a full Love Light tease. Unbelievable night, and that's just like a night that further cements this band's history in this city for sure, and makes me think of Dan Jenkins too. This was one of his favorite nights of all time, and he would never shut up about it. And I mean, like valid. Like this is a night to be talked about. If you're listening to this podcast and you have not gone back to this show to listen to it, and you've just gotten into the band in the last few years, this is required listening for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to stay in the War Memorial Auditorium for this next clip. Yeah, we got a little bit of a seg on this next one, so we'll hop right into it.
Hey.
Look at your calendars, folks.
I was just about to say that. Did you have fun?
I sure did. And everything I saw was out of this world. I was waiting for that sample there.
I was too.
Forgot that they had left that out, but out of this world, 1103, out of this world. Really fun combination. I mean, we've been through the combination of out of this freaking world, right? From New Orleans, the out of this world scheme. It's really cool to think or to see them mix up these TUI songs that you think of as, you know, disco-y, dancey, and everything like that with a darker, dirty dance floor track like 1103.
I had a thought while I was listening to that, and it's not about the 1103. The 1103 obviously is a great treat whenever you get it, and you know a very rare one these days. There's a reason they put Out of This World as the second song on their album. I know you could argue it's the first one if you say the Supercluster's an interlude, but for the sake of my argument, it's the second song. Because you usually put the best song on your album as the second song. There's some kind of album science to doing that. And I think Out of This World is the best song on TUI. We're putting the Given Hot Take section of our show to rest for a few weeks, but I think Out of This World.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, is it? I mean,
Totem exists.
Totem does exist, but this is fun. Yeah, let's get into it. No, it's you mentioned it, man. It's so diverse. It works with other TUI songs. It works with a large section of the catalog, and it's just such a tone setter of a song.
Yeah,
for that album, it's like, you know.
It can work in a lot of different parts of the show. I'm with you. It's a Swiss Army knife for sure.
Yeah.
And this one in particular is from the 2016 Fall Tour on November 3rd. So that's why we're saying check your calendars on this one. Back at the War Memorial Auditorium. This is the last time that they played the War Memorial Auditorium. They hit it in 14, 15, and 16, 3 years in a row. It's a really cool place. It looks like walking up to it, it looks like the Lincoln Monument a little bit. Big columns on the outside, and it's just like a big square room, almost like I'd liken it to the layout of it, a smaller Roxy.
Okay.
Yeah, just a big square room, big opportunity for a nice fat light rig, and a cool place to see them too. But this was a smoking show too. They did get to Supercluster during the show as well, so that's cool that they played it right after the frequencies they got into after this. But hot start, Forest Hue, Really What, Forest Hue into Really What into For Your Puma, F Word, Mod, Surreality into EB, Viable, Get Loud. It's pretty strong first set. Set 2, You Don't Say into Grow. I don't know how many times we've seen that. That is cool.
That's a really cool seg.
Mm-hmm. You Don't Say into Grow, Walk to the Light, World Go Round, Hubble, Out of This World, 1103, Out of This World, into Frequencies Piece 2, into 3, Encore, Supercluster, into Brain Damage by Pink Floyd, into Eclipse by Pink Floyd. That was featuring Maureen Murphy and the choir that she put together there. I'm sure we'll be back to that one at some point too. But hell of a show here. What do you say? We step into 3.0 here?
Step into 3.0. Let's step into the only show of these that we attended together.
That's right.
Hey, Brooke.
Hey, Earl.
Hey, Brian.
Bunch of rail rats. Again, to the last drop here, obviously. Like, I can't believe there was a time where that song didn't pop off. I
I
get it.
mean,
I get it if every single one kind of sounded the same and wasn't like that, but I mean, so cool to just see the evolution of a song and how it's come around.
I think some of my favorite, like, what the fuck moments between you and I have been. There's multiple low swaggers that come up. There's this
Yeah,
one. There's the
the
one at
wave spell one.
Spell. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, dude, it's just it didn't get it didn't used to get weaved into the kind of the fabric of a show quite like it did. It was a very popular opener, but to see something that you don't hear as low swagger kind of grow into low swagger, there's something special about it in that format, that I just love.
Yeah, to see the evolution of a song for sure, and we're definitely pounding each other's chests during this one during most of the show. Yeah, going back to the show, this was night one of the Sky Deck last year. You get a Chromolite opener with Sky Space, kind of an interlude into a Strange Games. Tiberius whipping it. We were both like whipping out the lasers second song in. Like, that's another thing. Going back on these videos, like, I don't think this light rig gets talked about enough. This was one of the coolest looks that Tiberius gave us for sure. Then you get the glass into moon socket. And then Surge into EHM into Be Nice. Oh, dude, that EHM into Be Nice is nasty work by David Phipps. There's some really crazy David Phipps work there. Then you get into what I think was the song of the weekend was that Walk the Sky. It clocks in at 14, almost 15 minutes. And we featured it on our 2024 review episode there. And then set 2, Searchlight, Dusk into Orbital, to the World, into Sky High, into Low Swagga, into Open E. Oh my God. And then that 4-year Puma encore was dirty work.
I mean, on paper, these these shows look like shows of the year.
Yeah.
I think if last year
I think they were up there.
Yeah, they're up there. I mean, it was a pretty strong year with Camp Elsewhere and the Force at Red Rock show, and there's some stiff competition there. But this is going back to what we said at the beginning. I mean, this show competes with anything you see in Atlanta, with anything you see in California. I mean, this thing got hands, bro.
Just blasting lasers onto the Bridgestone Arena. Fuck the Preds, dude. God damn it.
I think it was there was somebody playing there that night. Was it Tyler Childers was playing there that night?
It was a stacked weekend. I know it was the Nashville Comedy Fest too. Shane Gillis was there. We were playing around with going to Shane Gillis, and you're like, oh, we can't do that. Kate would be too sad.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. There's certain experiences you gotta bring the significant other with
for sure. Well, let's stay in that first weekend. Let's go to night 2 for a clip I think that both me and you have been waiting for quite a while to share.
Kind of thought we had played it already, honestly. Zach.
He knows he's about to fuck us up.
With that haircut.
Sonic the Hedgehog looking at it. Stick in the mouth.
Oh, damn, I forgot about this.
Sick shot.
Batman and Robin.
Zach is just flow state. Power stance from HP.
You know when he starts rocking back and forth like that, shit's getting serious.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
Alana.
Ooh, that shot right there.
Those spaceship landing endings just keep getting cooler and cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to talk about it, like the ending of that Low Swagga too, where I love when they end on that huge, just like Phipps note, the
Mm-hmm.
and then like bring it back down to like that spaceship landing where it's almost like awkward being at the show because like everyone's already like done the whole like
Yeah.
they like stop playing, it's like kind of quiet, but holy smokes, dude. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sixth member of the band getting involved in a Gob Nugget in terms of modular. First and only modular Gob Nugget.
Yep, Mod Nugget, I think we were calling it. Yeah, man, you're not gonna that's the most unique Gob Nugget that's ever been played. I'm sure people could find me longer versions or whatever, but it just that Gob Nugget modular jam is everything you want out of this band.
Yeah,
I
it was really tough to clip this to an appropriate length because the regular Gob Nugget that precedes it is downright feral. Like
Right.
it's almost like as soon as they started playing this Gob Nugget, we knew it was going to be different. And boy, were our expectations blown into the freaking atmosphere. Let's talk about this modular jam a little bit because I think sometimes these modular jams almost create a new section of the song, which is really cool, or they kind of just leave the whole whatever song they're coming out of structure behind. I think this one is really cool because you hear elements of Gob Nugget in it throughout, specifically from Phipps and Alana. Like the modular on like and it's like the
Yep.
and then
I
he
had the
hits
same thing in my notes. The
yeah,
exact same thing. I wrote type 1 modular jam.
yeah.
'Cause it stays within the guardrails of Gob Nugget. I would say most modular jams do kind of depart from the song that they're that segs into it, and then comes back at the end. This is one where you could almost just randomly pick a spot within this, and almost you kind of get an idea like, oh, this is either a long intro to Gob Nugget or it's a modular jam to Gob Nugget, but you get that Gob Nugget no matter where you are in it.
Yeah, and and then
Yeah.
Phipps just like or Alana slapping a little bit of that Gob Nugget at the end of it. Really cool. I mean, this show, you saw the First Haze after the Red Rocks debut into When the Dust Settles reprise. That was a really cool segue to start. This Gob Nugget, Poseidon, a Fat Enceladus, and then you had the Golden Gate Arigato Feel It Arigato Fuckery to end set 1. Set 2, Kaya, Light Reveals, Music Us, Vapors, Tap In, Like I Do, It's Alright, Wicked Chicana. Encore, Crystal Instrument. I think we were talking about this after the show, and we were like, if the last STS9 show were to happen right now, that's kind of what the set list would look like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get everything. You get Chromolite, you get Modular, you get old songs, you get Artifact, you get new songs that haven't been released yet. That's chef's kiss on the set list writing right there.
And then closing with the Crystal Instrument, which is just for the heads. Like, you know,
I was with Reynolds at the up on the balcony, but right before the encore started, we were like blown away by the show. She was like, "What are they gonna come out with?" I was like, "Probably a circus or something." And then they started playing Crystal, and she goes, "Crystal Heady."
So I had found a ripped in half set list on the ground during this night, and it had almost completely cut off the second set. So basically I found what we had heard, and the only thing that I could really see down the line was a C at the beginning of the encore, and so I thought it was Circus too.
Oh, you had found this before the show?
During the show.
During the show.
It was.
Oh, I would have looked the other way.
Well, I saw it and I grabbed it, and I didn't know what the encore was. And so, but I was so sure it was a circus because I could not think of another song that started with C in the moment. As I'm sitting here in the comfort of my own home, Clickling Echo, Crystal Instrument, but just none of those came to mind at the time. And so when Crystal started getting played, I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think of that."
That's good. I think that is a pleasant surprise based off the other options for sure.
Yeah.
Here's just a look at the feeling after this show. This is me, you, and Will. I'm holding up the set list like it's the national championship trophy. My shirt is unbuttoned at the bottom here. This encapsulates the feeling after that show for sure.
Absolutely.
But that wraps up our clips from the Nashville STS9 time capsule. If that doesn't get you pumped up for these shows, I don't know what will. But we had a fan prompt last week, and we're just going to cover a couple of answers of what are you looking to hear in Nashville for these shows. And on the thought of the best way to go into a show is no expectations, but why not? Talk about what you want to hear. So,
sure.
Scotty, you want to share one of the submissions?
Yeah, we got Brooke Montjoy on the Scoobs in High Key. She commented that on the YouTube page. So friend of the show, former guest of the show. Hope she gets her scoops in her High Key.
And then share one of mine. I like the James King, also High Key. So that is a popular one we're looking to hear. One of them, I don't think they've played in Nashville for a while, so that is on the table, I think. And then Eponymous would be super fun too. But Scotty, not what do you? We're gonna get into our predictions of what we're gonna hear, but what would you like to hear them play this weekend?
I've been a big tap-in guy lately.
Okay.
And I honestly, as I say that, or as I've been thinking that, I kind of forgot that last year we got a tap in on night 2. I know that they do pay attention to that, so maybe that puts tap in low on the possibilities. But I've been finding a lot of cool tap ins that I've been enjoying lately.
So I'm with Brooke here. After we played that Squares and Cubes last week, I've just been on a Squares and Cubes kick. I'd love to hear Squares and Cubes. I would love to hear. I've been on a big What Is Love kick too. I'd love to hear a massive What Is Love. And the big thing I talked about it I want to see the sixth member of the band get really involved with some of these new songs. I
Mhm.
want I don't know exactly when the EP is dropping, whether it's Thursday, Friday, or after the run, or how it's gonna work. But I want these songs live to sound completely different than the album versions that we're gonna hear. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing I'm looking to go into, and the best way to go into shows I've found with expectations is not certain songs that you want to hear, but like how you want to hear them play.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking for here. But we will get into our predictions. Again, this is a part of the battle for the Pod Podular title belt, which will be afforded or awarded to the winner after our 52nd episode here. Scotty, I'm going to give you the win. We haven't put out the poll yet, but you won the last one, so you are up, I think 9-5 right now
Okay.
on the count.
Okay.
Um, so this go around for song predictions, let's take some stuff off the table. Okay,
Okay.
let's take newly released music off the table here.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Okay.
All right.
That's fair. That's fair.
So call it in the air, ceremonial, Zen can flip, call it.
Cool, man.
It is tails. Scotty, I'm gonna go with Mirror Soul on my first one. This is a song that they have
Put it
absolutely
on the
been,
table.
have been smashing over the last year and a half or so, and one we haven't gotten in Nashville maybe ever. So I think we get a fucking massive Mirror Soul, and I think it's going to be put up right against one of those new songs. Right? We talked about mixing the new with the old. How much better could you get with that? So
like it.
Mirror
I
Soul
like
is
it.
my first
Okay.
pick.
Okay. I am going to go F word.
F word. Got it.
It's been a while.
I'm gonna go Just Thanks. My second pick. I'm going old
A
school
little bit
with
of a personal
these.
favorite.
Definitely a personal favorite too. I think it makes sense too, and how they've been sprinkling it in. I think it would work really nicely as an encore. I think that this weekend is going to be a love letter to the fans of STS9 and to the city of Nashville. And I think that's by no mistake that they're choosing this city to unleash the first EP. So I think a Just Thanks encore is in store for us.
Okay. Okay. Let me see here. I'm gonna go Mischief.
Mischief, that's a good one. That
Mischief
is a
of
good
Sleepwalker.
one. All right, I gotta go with a staple on this one. I'm gonna go Rent,
Okay. I like
and
that.
then round out your selection here.
Feels like a weekend for a breathe in. 420
Breathe in.
weekend.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good. So you couldn't pick Glass this time, buddy.
Nope. Nope. I could not.
I think they'll play it. Yeah, regardless of whether they played it last week or not, I think we'll get. I'm like, who knows if Glass is on this first EP? Like,
I think it's
there's-
safe to assume.
yeah, there's so many unknowns, which is so cool going into
Yeah.
this. But, cool. All right, you're going with F word, Mischief, Breathe In. My list: Mirror Soul, Just Thanks, Rent. We get a point each, so I'm looking to
Okay.
do some catching up with you here. But we have a new segment, like you said, we're giving hot take to rest here for a little bit. New segment presented by Sets by Scotty. You mind if we get into that real quick? We're calling this
I do
one.
not.
Yeah, we're calling this one Inspire, Bring It Back. Right? So
Mhm.
things that we want to see come back could be anything, right? And we're gonna eventually alternate what we bring to the table with this each week. But this being the first one, we wanted to both bring one to the table. So Scotty, you have the
Mhm.
floor.
All right. So for my inaugural Inspire Bring It Back, I've always had a bit of a I don't know, it's always bothered me that Alana was never afforded. I don't know if she wasn't afforded it. This is just a narrative I'm creating in my head. But she was robbed of the original Blue Mood intro and
Okay.
of what she could have done with those lion-like bass tones of hers. So I would like to bring back the original Blue Mood intro, the doom, doo doom, 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 doom. Just kind of Murph in a dark hallway type intro, but Alana's swing at it. They almost I didn't have time to research this, but I'm pretty sure the first Blue Mood that they played was that synthy new intro Blue Mood. And it's always been like that with them. And I love that intro. That modular intro from Austin is one we haven't played yet, but that's top notch, Sector 9. But I would love to see that Blue Mood intro come back from the original one and see her take on it, because it's something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, they kind of just go into that bum, 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 bum,
Right.
bum,
Yeah.
bum. Yeah, if you just get it's almost like the Equinox intro a little bit, like but just like dum 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 dum
Right.
dum dum dum. I like that. And then they fucked around with the modular intro, which I think is hot sauce for a little bit, but now they're kind of back to that initial 2.0 intro. That would be really cool to see, and she would smack that for sure.
Right.
I'm gonna go with Optics on mine.
Okay.
And I think it's time. I think the hair is long enough, bro.
Oh.
Hunter Brown, bring back the pigtail braids. I think the hair is long enough at this point. Yeah, why not throw a beret on there too? We've seen more and more hats. I think we referred to Jam Cruise Night One admirably as Hat Night. So hats are getting more involved. Hunter Brown with a hat with pigtail braids, bro. Come on. I mean,
dude, can you imagine? Can you imagine the crowd pop that would occur if this motherfucker came out in braids?
That's what I'm saying. I would have to do some stretches and drink some water immediately.
So this kind of keys into one that this isn't a bring it back, but for the love of God, for an encore? I know they don't want to do it for the whole show, but can everyone come out with their hair down for an encore? Like just like go backstage, comb it out, like brush it out, get it nice, and then Phipps, Alana, and Hunter just wild man and wild women like a 4-year fucking puma or something.
Yeah, they come out looking like Van Halen or like Coheed and Cambria. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
If they could straighten Alana's hair very quickly, that would be hilarious. That would be a wild switch up. Might be a little bit of a longer break between set two and the encore.
You might have to do set break for that one instead of encore break.
You'd be like, what the hell is going on? Are they coming out? You'd be like, holy shit. Headbanging. Yeah, tap in would be a good headbanging show.
Oh, man.
Sure. But that would be good for sure. There it is.
I love that. Bring back the Hunter Brown braids. What a great idea.
Yeah, I tried to manifest that by going braids at the show at Red Rocks 2021. I think a bunch of us braided our hair, so maybe I'll fuck around with that in Nashville. Who knows? But
dude, keep putting it in the world. Like you get back what you put out. Put braids out into the world.
There we go. So
good luck.
So that's Inspire, Bring It Back. Fun new segment. I think we got a lot of things that we can hit on here. So that opens up a whole new can of worms here, a whole new can of whoop ass, actually. That's it, guys. Safe travels to Nashville if you're making it. If you aren't making it and you're within, like I said, a 10-hour radius and you're still not going after this episode, shame on you. Make it happen.
Grow up. Get in the car and go.
Get tickets on sts9.com. Subscribe to Bandcamp. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Whether you're watching on YouTube, listen on Spotify or Apple Music, like, subscribe, leave a review if you're so kind. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you Sector Knots in Nashville this weekend. So, Trespass. Peace, y'all.